Hello and welcome to Slinger Devlog number 5. A lot has changed since the last devlog, so let's get right into it. So I got a piece of feedback on Reddit, somebody that played the demo, that there wasn't enough oomph when killing the goblins. It didn't feel as impactful as it could have. So here is more oomph when slaying goblins. So basically what I've done is I've upped the forces that act on the goblin when it gets smacked by the sword, and I've also added a punch sound. Actually, it's a layered punch sound. It plays two different punch sounds at the same time and pitches them randomly from like 90% to 110%. And so that gives it like a nice meaty sound. And then of course the existing sort of wet, squishy gore sound is there already. So that gives it a nice punchy kind of feel. One of the other things that changed is I overhauled the rating screen. So let's go ahead and complete this level. And you can see like this is now the rating screen here, the level complete screen. And what it does is it actually gives you a rating based on your solution for the level. So since I'm on level 1 and there aren't many options, if any, for my solution, I automatically get the highest tier. And the way this works is I wrote a scoring algorithm that basically takes into account how many unique triggers and actions you're using in your solution. And when you use a unique solution, you can get a glorious rating. Now, if you, let's say, repeat a bunch of actions and triggers, you'll actually get a lower rating. So here we have this level where I repeated a bunch of triggers and actions, and you can see what this looks like. So now I've gotten like a silver rating, just a good. And there is one that's lower than this as well. That's just called decent, and that's like the bronze rating. But basically I got a silver rating because I'm using a throw action here, and then a bounce trigger here, and then a throw action here, and then yet another bounce trigger and another throw action. Now this is despite the fact that I have available to me a timer trigger. And also, I believe in this version, I also have shooting arrows available to me. So the fact that I have triggers and actions available to me that I'm not using is impacting my score. Now, the inner workings of the score are pretty forgiving, so you don't have to like use every single trigger and action available to you, but as long as you use a majority, as long as you vary your solution, it should be reasonably easy to get that highest rating. I've been playtesting all the levels, and I've found that they are all still solvable while also getting that glorious rating. But if you play the demo, you can try out this rating system right now, so let me know if it feels too difficult. But yeah, that's the rating system. Okay, and while I'm here, you'll notice too that I added a bunch of environment art. So before, this game was very empty. It was just the white terrain and the white goblins and the white sword and all this stuff. So what I've got now is I've got different props that I can put in for the environment. And these are darkened so as to not attract too much attention, but you know, you got little fence, little rock, just basically different things, grass all over the place, little cross there, little gnarled tree. And this is just what I'm gonna be putting in all the levels just to make it feel a little bit more interesting. And then you can also see in the background, I've got some rain particle effects here. That's pretty simple. They're just simple sprites and they're just coming in at a certain angle. Very simple. And then I also did a little bit of birds here. So these birds will actually fly away when the sword gets too close. So let me reset a few times. They respawn on every reset. So if I can get I got a cluster of birds right here. So if I just go ahead and throw my sword down there, you can see that the birds will actually fly away because I've quote unquote startled them, right? So that's the environment art. Okay, so I've got a couple of I got one new trigger and one new action to show you. So if I go over here, so let me just play this solution really quick. So we got an enemy that's just getting killed right there, and that's it. So I'm gonna fill in the next block. The new trigger is the enemy killed trigger. So this is going to trigger whenever an enemy is killed, obviously. But this is interesting because the sword doesn't have to be the killer of the enemy, right? If you shoot an arrow and it kills an enemy, that would also trigger this. So it allows for some interesting combinations there. And then the new action is called Reset Position. And what this is going to do is this is going to send the sword back to where it originally started. So that's really good for repositioning. If you need to go to one side of the level to kill a few goblins and you need to make it all the way back to the other side of the level, well, now you have this this action available to you. So I'm going to show you how this will work. So once the enemy gets killed, you'll see that the sword poofs back to its start position. So let's go ahead, and there it is. And the sword maintains all of its momentum, velocity, angular velocity, all of that stuff. So you can actually treat it as sort of a portal, right? If I were to, let's say, do something like a throw action here. So let's just see, yeah, we'll do the enemy killed, and then I'll do a throw, and I'll just say throw straight up. And then here, I'm just gonna skip. I don't want to use a trigger. I just want to immediately do the reset position. So now we can see what that looks like. And you can see the sword has been thrown. Even though it got thrown before, it is carrying that over when it resets its position. So let's just see that again, and there it is. And finally, I made some changes to the radial edit once again. So these buttons are now counterclockwise and clockwise rotation buttons, which I think is more intuitive than plus and minus. And then this angle is also mapped from -180 to 180. So this -180 to 180 mapping actually, I think, makes more sense for people who are familiar with math, right? So if I set it for a 45-degree angle, it's now up and to the right, right? And if I do, you know, 130, 180, it's to the left, and then it goes from -180 to 0. So that's a little bit nicer. And then these rotation buttons give you finer control, but you can also hold these buttons down, and you know, that's just an alternate way of inputting the angle. So if you're not comfortable with clicking in here and dragging, or let's say you just need to make some quick adjustments here, you can do that pretty easily. So that's it. I pretty much rushed through all of the changes, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So right now my focus is getting the game published on Steam within the next few months, you know, fully released, that is, for everyone to buy. So the demo has most, if not all, of these changes up right now. So check the link in the description to try out the demo, and send me your feedback before the game releases so I can make sure it's as good as possible. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter @Firebelly. Wishlist my game Swordslinger on Steam. A link to that is in the description.